Welcome everybody. This will be a fun experiment. hopefully it works. We are going to be starting very shortly. We're going to be focused on Space Prime. And thank you, Matt. We're going to focus on Space Prime today. We're going to do 2 rounds of an interactive workshop. We're going to have a 3-minute presentation, maybe maximum 5 minutes of a presentation. Then we're all going to be playing in an interactive mirror board, populating a board there with our insights. So this is going to be a highly interactive session, kicking off with an overview. We've got 2 rounds. The first round is going to be focused on space, mobility, transportation, and the second round is going to be focused on space data. So with that, I will hand over to Gabe. I'm going to start recording. Oh, we're recording already. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Gabe and Ellen. They're going to give us a quick overview, and then I will be posting in the chat a link to a Miro board. I won't do it until they finish speaking, so that we can all actually have an interactive discussion and session. So over to you, Gabe.
I'm going to keep this real short because I want you guys to get as much value out of the interaction as possible. But hopefully you saw Colonel Felt's intro before you came in. We, on the government side, have been doing a lot of investigation into what we need, what the government needs, what the U.S. Space Force needs when it comes to new space capability. And we think there's a great nexus. You don't mind muting yourself, by the way. We think there's a great nexus between what is needed on our side, but also what's happening in this new commercial space sector, which is booming. What we came up with is what you're going to look at today. We have 2 topics. First topic right now is going to be space, mobility, transport, and logistics. And I will quickly share this one chart so that you can get a quick idea what we're talking about. These are just some examples that fall into what we're calling a topic theme. Mobility, transport, logistics could be many things, but if you can see this list, I'll enlarge it. That's sort of what we're looking at for space, mobility, transport, logistics. I brought Ellen in because Ellen has got a particular perspective on the venture capital side, and I wanted to give her a quick minute or 2 to share her perspective if she can.
Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Ellen Chang. I'm actually been watching the new space revolution for probably almost a decade. It certainly took off, I guess, for myself in 2015, and have several investments within the sector. I would say, I think a lot of folks have heard about from various venture capitalists and private investors throughout the week. This is an interesting space, especially interesting space, because I personally am seeing a lot of family offices, angels entering into the space, as well as international groups. And so, and with Morgan Stanley, they just had their space conference, and a few others. I'm even seeing a crowdfunding, space-focused crowdfunding site get born. It's still trying to raise money. I find that this space is very exciting. Some of the concepts here could be further out, and the business models will really have to be thought through in order for them to be successful. But others are certainly maturing very rapidly. And I think the Air Force, by thinking about how to prime the pump, could certainly benefit tremendously around stimulating this space economy, especially to, I guess, index it towards, the U.S. national security advantages. And so with that, I'll give it back to you, Gabe.
Awesome. Thanks, Ellen. So I guess I'll turn it over to Mark to explain what we're going to do here. And then periodically, as you go through this, there's going to be a lot more online interaction than we're expecting, voice interaction. But periodically, I might pipe in with some suggestions or some ideas as you fill out the Miro board. So over to you, Mark.
Gabe, over to you. Do you want to give us a quick intro into round 2 for space?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'll send when you're talking. I'll share the link with everyone so you can see it. Over to you.
Fantastic. Let me share again the screen. And you saw the list before. Maybe you weren't paying attention to it, so pay attention to it now. My spiel here, you may have heard Colonel Felt say earlier that the government side has been working on what a space prime might actually look like. What does that look like when it comes to priming the pump on a commercial market segment that could serve both our Air Force Space Force needs, while also really jumpstarting a nascent market for space. So as we went through a survey exercise to kind of boil down some topic themes is what we ended up calling them. We got a lot of feedback, and kind of what rose to the top on the government side was these two topics. So this next session B, I'm calling it, session 2, is space data access, which encompasses a number of things, but it could be internet in space, distributed on-orbit computing, cross-layer, we call it SATCOM, but it could be any comm really, between satellites, edge computing, situational awareness, many more different things. And by the way, some of the folks you've heard talking already are part of the Space Prime working group, as it were. So they are helping on the government side anyway, ferret out and working, which is why we're glad you're here. We need this feedback from essentially the commercial sector, the outside defense sector, to help us really narrow down on what it is that is this nexus point between commercial and national security. And Ellen, if you had any perspective on that from your side, it'd be great.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I think I know so many people here now that I've had a chance to look through the names. So hi. I've been working with Gabe and several folks, Jake Singleton, for several years now. Really excited about what the Air Force is doing, what the Space Force is launching. I think just in this area, there's actually a lot of potential. Seeing several companies or concepts at least coming to the forefront where leveraging, there's opportunities to leverage those commercial players where to actually push forward some of these markets. I think even the lunar cislunar area is I guess maturing. We do know several folks here who are involved in some of those initiatives that NASA has. So by pulling this together and actually creating some public-private partnerships, perhaps collapsing additional private investment into this sector will really help us accelerate the maturing of this area, especially for the United States, I think. So with that, back to you, Gabe.
Thanks very much, Ellen. So I guess most of it, since I'm also driving, it's hard to see sometimes who is joining, who's not joining. So many of you probably already here. I'll turn over to Mark for mirror board discussion.
Thank you. Okay, I'm assuming that the majority of you stayed with us from the first round. So for anyone that did not, I'm just about to put in the chat in Zoom the link to the mirror frame that we're going to be using. It's going to be round 2 of our space discussion. I'm not going to go through all the explanation that I did for round 1, because I'm assuming even if you weren't with us for space round 1, you at least were in a different session. If anyone is having any difficulties, technical difficulties getting into the mirror board or understanding what to do, please just shout out. So round 2 is all about data accessibility in space, as you will see. And we're going to be going through the same thing we did for round 1, same structure for the board. Please grab your ideas and stick it in so that we can start to pull information together to get ready to launch our request for information, which will hopefully go live in the next week or 2 to get lots of feedback from you all. So we're all really excited, so thank you.
Hey, Mark, could you do me a favor again? Because my memory is not as great as it used to be. And put that slide back up that has the list of topics that are within data. So
that would be a request for Gabe.
Gabe.
Got it.
Gabe.
I'll do it. Yep. I'll do it for you here. This one here, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. That just helps keep me on track so I don't.
I'll take a screen grab of it and I'll stick it on the mirror board as well.
Oh, there you go. Excellent. Thank you.